Tales from the pizza guy. Anyone ever have to call social services? So I've been a pizza guy for the past 5 or so years. I've called 911 a few times. Drunk drivers mostly. I've called the non-emergency line dozens of times. Dead deer on the road. Fights happening. Car accidents. Down at poles. etc. But this year alone I've been in 2 situations where I've called social services. Something I've never done. The first was a family I delivered to, new customers, in a rough area of town. The guy was screaming at his family before I even knocked on the door. When I finally did, the screams went silent. Dude answers the door, his small, 3, maybe 4-year-old daughter behind him. The transaction goes normally, but the daughter gets excited and steps forward to wave at me. "Get the frig back," he screamed at her. She freaking flinched like a car was about to hit her. The mom then comes out from the back room and grabs her quickly, whisks her daughter away from the dad. That's when I noticed the mom was covered in bruises and her body language suggested she was terrified of the dude. She wouldn't look at him, kept her head low. I was disgusted. And maybe I was looking into this crookedly, but I didn't want to take the chance. I called my local domestic abuse hotline. Fast forward to this week. I have a regular customer who is a mentally handicapped lady and her guardian, I assume mother. Every time I go there, the house gets messier and messier and messier. 3 weeks ago she answered the door in a dirty nightgown with a giant reddish brown blood stain 6x6 inches on the crotch. I was disgusted. Yesterday, I delivered there and noticed the previous week's delivery boxes still stacked on the front coffee table. Weeks old, and the pile just kept growing. While the handicapped girl went to get her mom to sign for the pizza, she's never tipped me once. 0 over 50 or so deliveries. I snapped her. Removed. Picture of the gross house. So I called social services, told her that the lady seems happy, but her guardian is forcing her to live in squalor. She doesn't have the means to move out, and who knows if she has the functional ability to take it upon herself to clean the house. Basically she's being forced to live in squalor. And just 10 minutes ago, social services called me back and thanked me for the report. They told me they already have a pending investigation open in which the state is trying to obtain guardianship of the girl. My report is just one more big piece of evidence they'll use in court. I don't regret a thing. I hope she gets the help she needs. Has anyone else run into anything similar? We get a call saying, "Been an hour and the pizza hasn't arrived." So I'm working as a pizza maker at a tiny independent pizza shop in New Orleans and the delivery driver is a 6 feet 6 inches Lithuanian basketball player who's supposed to be on a basketball scholarship, but he has some troubles with the NCAA over a few exhibition games he may have gotten paid for, so he's delivering pizza in a clapped out ghetto sled instead of going to college. We sent him out on a run for 3 nearby deliveries, and after about 30 minutes of him being out, the customer from the third house called to complain that their pizza hasn't arrived yet. So I call the first house and they're like, "Pizza came just fine." I call the second house and they say their pizza just arrived. So I figure he's had car problems and I'll go find him. So I drive over to the second house and follow the logical route toward the third, and as I'm almost there I see this giant man running at a dead sprint down the middle of the road with the pizza bag held up over his shoulder like a waiter. I pulled up beside him, and without stopping he yelled, "Must deliver pizza," turned the corner, and ran up to the customer's house. When he got done I found out that his car had failed to start at the first house and he decided to run about 3 miles with several pizzas rather than screw around looking for a phone. Best delivery driver we ever had by far. Sing a Christmas carol for a tip. I've been a pizza delivery driver for several years, and today is the first day I legitimately feel ashamed of doing what I do. This story may not seem to be a huge deal to some people, since it's probably more of me being socially inept when it comes to a big audience and being recorded and not being comfortable with my singing voice. So I may be overreacting, but I can't shake this feeling of humiliation. Since I was a kid, I've always been pretty shy. Even amongst close friends I'm somewhat quiet, and I'm absolutely terrible speaking in front of large crowds. I remember in high school having nightmares for weeks about having to do an upcoming presentation, and I would be dreading doing it every day until the day of. Not only that, but I'm a terrible singer, and I know it. I don't even feel comfortable singing in front of friends and family. Which brings me to the actual story. I had a delivery today with a note written in the special instructions section that said sing a Christmas carol for a tip. I didn't really take it all that seriously and figured they were just joking. And if they weren't, I thought of a corny line to say while driving there to hopefully satisfy them if they were serious. So I show up and it's some kind of small party going on. There's probably roughly 10 to 15 teenagers gathered around in the living room and the mom comes to the door and takes the pizzas. There were 6 larges, as I give her the receipt to sign. She then looks at me with a smile and goes, "So did they tell you?" Me, haha, oh the note? Yeah, I saw that, but trust me, you don't want to hear me sing. Huh, oh come on, you have to. She then ushers me inside and closes the door behind me. All of the people there are watching me and already have their phones out recording me. I instantly get uncomfortable and want to leave as quickly as possible. An audience is one thing, but being recorded by multiple people will instantly make me feel anxious. Huh, well go on, sing. Me, no really, I'm a terrible singer. I'm sure I will ruin your Christmas. Christmas is still several weeks away. I have no idea why they wanted a Christmas carol so bad. Huh, oh come on. I'll make it worth your while, she said as she waved a 20 and a 5 in front of me. I continued to insist on being a terrible singer and not being comfortable with it, but she kept pushing. Eventually I decided to try my corny line and hoped it would satisfy them. So I just said, okay, how about rub-a-dub-dub, I brought you some grub. Which was corny as fuck and holy hell, so cringy to say and made me feel infinitely more uncomfortable. Obviously no one laughed and she went, no, it has to be a Christmas carol. I insisted more about not wanting to sing and was starting to get seriously pissed off and uncomfortable that she wasn't taking no for an answer and she kept waving the money in front of my face to encourage me. So finally I just said, look, I'm sorry but I'm not going to sing for money. She looked at me incredulously for a second and went, wow, it was only for fun, you know. Well, you're definitely not getting this then, she said as she pulled the 20 away and only gave me the 5 and the receipt she had signed. I said thank you and quickly left while I heard several comments behind me from everyone else like, wow, is he serious? What a D. Ugh, gross WTF, this even means I have no idea. Disgusted she didn't hear a Christmas carol, I guess. Why did he really have to make us feel so bad? So yeah, it's just being pressured to sing, which I guess should just be fun, but I've never felt so used and humiliated while working here. I legitimately feel ashamed to be working a minimum wage job now and truly feel like I'm on the lowest rung of the ladder in society. I was just a tool for their entertainment that they thought would jump at the chance to make a fool of myself for an extra 20 bucks. I'm a pizza delivery driver, not a freaking performer. Edit. First time getting gold on Reddit, and it's on a throwaway, haha. Thanks though. I really appreciate all the kind words, everyone. It's awesome going from feeling humiliated last night to feeling proud of myself today. Thank you all so much. Little girl drops her mum's pizza. So I've been delivering close to a year now. Had no hiccups so far until this happened. Got a delivery to a familiar house. Nice and easy drive. Got to the door and heard the mum yell out, "I'll be just a minute." Anyway, I'm greeted to the face of a 6-7-year-old when the door opens. No mum in sight. Now I don't really care about kids answering the door in regards to tips, as in Australia we don't have a tipping culture and don't rely on tips. I tell the little girl it was $18 all up, and she looks at me puzzled and hands a $50 saying, "Is this enough?" Of course, I'm not going to steal from a little kid, so I carefully count back her change to the exact cent. I think it going smoothly. How wrong was I? I attempt to give her the pizza. She is obviously struggling to hold the box. I hesitate and say I think it would be best if you got your mum to carry it just in case. However, she shakes her head and said her mum said she had to carry it back. This pissed me off a bit. I don't want to be blamed if she drops the pizza. The little girl gets a good grip of the pizza and walks down the hallway as I'm closing the door. Just as I was about to close the door, the little girl drops the pizza, topping side down, all over the floor. At this point, I've shut the door fully and can see a bit of the action through the glass pane next to the door. The little kid is trying to scrape all the toppings into the box and failing horrendously. I'm in an awkward position as I'm just standing there at the door, helpless. I wait there for another good 2 to 3 minutes waiting at the door to see if her mum came to rectify the situation with me. I was prepared to talk it over with her and see if she wanted a new one. However, all I could hear was the mum scolding her daughter about the mess she made. At that point, I was pretty pissed off. The little girl must have felt so embarrassed about the situation. The mum didn't have the decency to help her struggling kid with the pizza. As I went to my car, which was a good 20 meters away, I could still hear the mum yelling. I got back to the store and told my manager what happened just to cover my ass if the mum rang up and tried to blame anything on me. Fortunately, we didn't hear from her. Throughout the whole shift, I felt awful about the situation and felt sorry for the girl. At the end of our shift, we get to make and take home a pizza for free. I decided to make the same pizza as the one that the little girl dropped and drop it off on my way home to their house. This wasn't because I felt bad for the mum who probably had to cook her own dinner, but I felt as if it would take the stress off the little girl. So I went back to their house, pizza in hand and some ice cream for the kid. I explained to the mum that I saw what happened and decided to tell her how little kids shouldn't answer the door, as money can be easily taken, food easily dropped. I say that in the future she should at least watch her child when answering the doors for deliveries at the very least. She ended up apologizing profusely and thanking me for my troubles. The mum has answered the door ever since. Thanks for watching this r/Tales from the Pizza Guy. Hope you have an amazing day.